top 5 tips for family health with holistic education. My name is Dr. Erica Steele. I'm a board certified naturopathic doctor. I have 7 degrees in my field, all in the natural healthcare space, except for one business degree. But I am here to teach you all about holistic medicine. So I like to say I went to school so you don't have to. Today, we're going to be talking about 5 tips to have a thriving family that is holistically driven, create this lifestyle within your households that everyone is on board with and everyone's excited about. If you need additional support and you need a community, because I know, if we're out there serving, we need to have a support, go ahead and click the link. We do have a free holistic community. You can ask me questions. You can ask other members questions. There's tons of free resources in there. So definitely check it out. All right. So 5 tips for family health with holistic education. So number one, first thing is we want to keep things very simple and very practical. So we don't want to come in and I know I've heard these stories where like people will get rid of all of the food in their house and like bring in just fruits and vegetables and they're all raw foodists, right? And while I love that approach and it's like, wow, a lot, there may be boycotting in your house. And so, we don't want to shock the body either. We don't want to go from, let's say, maybe, a fast food diet to now all of a sudden we're eating raw whole foods. That's why I don't recommend people to like, oh, they've been eating like junk and treating their body like junk. And now all of a sudden they're going to do a juice cleanse or a water cleanse. Like these extremes don't really work and they're really harsh on the body. So definitely keeping it simple, keeping it practical. I like to start with just simple things like mindset, like a 15-minute meditation, things like drinking water, getting your, starting with maybe 5,000 steps in the day, little things that you're going to get wins from. And then you're going to feel more motivated to keep going because these are all habits. And I also don't tend to do like the hardest thing at first, which is why really this first tip, keep it simple, keep it practical. Maybe everybody in the family is doing like, everybody's going to drink water. We're all going to go get bottles. We've got our 32 ounces of bottled water. Everybody's going to drink at least however many per day, right? And so that's simple. It's easy. It's practical. Maybe you can have a competition about it. So those are really fun ways you can bring in just some basic lifestyle habits and education without it being super dramatic. Also, too, explaining and educating, especially for your children, the role of holistic health in raising them as a healthy person. So I often taught my daughter, what it means to be healthy, because we don't ask ourselves these questions. We oftentimes take our health for granted. So what does it mean to be healthy? What about our health choices? When my daughter would have stomach aches and stuff from eating junk food, I'd say, well, you're eating toxic food, so you're going to feel toxic, right? And while she may eye roll at the time, really those, seeds that I planted are going to last a lifetime, even as she has children and develops and that sort of thing. So don't, negate the little seeds that you're planting, even if you don't see any success, because, kids may be grumbly at first, but eventually it is getting in. I think also too, personalizing it to them, allowing them to make choices. I know a lot of times we as parents, we want the best for them and we want to just tell our kids what to do, but we have to remember that they are free agents and we don't want them to resist against us. And especially we don't want a negative connotation around their health. So, accepting them where they are with their health, if they are eating junk food, making sure that they, know the boundaries behind junk food. For me, I wouldn't buy junk food in my house. So if my daughter got it, she'd have to buy it herself. And then if she ate it and she got sick, guess what? So there's natural cause and effect that can be taught, and it can make the journey of holistic lifestyle just that much more rich and that much more fun. All right. So the next tip I want to give you is really looking at easy meal prepping tips. So we're talking crock pots, we're talking rice cookers, we're talking Ninja Combis, we're talking air fryers, we're talking stuff that we can throw ingredients in, press a button and walk away. I tend to go for 5 ingredients or less, 20 minutes or less. And by doing that, I'm not putting so much stress on myself. When I look at my groceries, I separate out my groceries in terms of proteins, carbs, and fats. And I have a running list of all of those in my house. Naturally, I'm filling up mostly on proteins and carbs, and I have a little bit of fats. But, I'll keep fats around, especially for my partner, because he's working out a lot more and doing a lot more physical activity. And so needing to have that buffer and balance so that he has that, right? And so knowing what ingredients that we need to have in the house, having them available, and then having it so I can literally just throw things. We're talking, stir fries, we're talking crock pot meals, we're talking soups. Again, things that we can just throw ingredients in with some seasonings and walk away. And now we've got now we've got dinner and lunch for the next day. I always like to plan a day and a half in advance, not too far out, because I don't like food that's kind of old and milly. But I try to make sure that I know and remember that I need to plan my meals. So make it a family affair, plan your meals, make sure everybody is on board, because then people will definitely eat the food, hopefully. All right. And so another tip I'd have is family-wide physical activity, going on hikes, going on, various different outings. These are all things that can be done and are really fun and can invoke a lot of physical activity and movement into your everyday life. So, physical activity and exercise doesn't have to be difficult. It doesn't have to be stressful. It can be fun. And when you incorporate all your family, it's a great bonding experience as well. And the last thing I'm going to mention is building a support system. So we may take for granted that we're in these family systems, but really discussing with each family member what they need to feel supported. We may not know because they may not share, or they may not acknowledge that, maybe your kiddo is anxious about lab testing, or, maybe one's about to go off to college and they're really nervous about being, home away from home for the first time, or dating, or any of the various things that are going on with your family. And so having conversations around the concept of support, especially emotional support, is going to encourage them to self-soothe, acknowledge, but also reach out when they need help. So if those tips have helped, definitely join our community where I share those tips as well as many, many more for you and your family to live a holistic life. My vision would be that everyone's family is holistic. I know I raised my daughter that way, where, I taught her the value of her body and how to heal it and what she needed to do for it. And so I hope that you do that as well with your family. So like, share, subscribe for more, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.